Hey, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're calling in from. Chris Lopez here. I am really excited to go over today's webinar on how to get more investor clients without having to be an investor, having a portfolio, or understanding cap rates. So I'm really pumped about today's webinar. This topic about working with investors is like one of my most favorite things in the world. So I'm very pumped up. I also probably drank too much caffeine today, but that's the way it goes. So you got my excitement and caffeine. I'll talk fast, but I'm very excited to be here. So just want to make sure everyone can see my screen and hear me. If you guys give me a thumbs up or drop something in the comments so I know you see it, that would be really, really helpful. We just love to make sure people can see it. Also, know where you're from. I think most people are here from Denver, Colorado Springs, but occasionally we're getting more and more people from all around the country, which I love because this strategy of working with more investor clients as an agent is something that is a huge opportunity in the marketplace and what we are talking about today. Awesome. I see a bunch of thumbs up. Glad you guys can see us. All right. So meet your host. That's me, Chris Lopez. And by really focusing on working with investors, I've been able to scale my business as an investor-friendly realtor and eventually my team with Envision Advisors from zero to actually multiple seven figures with just under 4 years in terms of GCI. Now, with that, we've closed hundreds of properties up and down the Front Range, mostly in Denver, Springs, and Pueblo. Like we're close to like $250 million now, which is pretty cool. And plus, through all these topics I've talked about, it's giving me the chance to go out there and host various podcasts, be on Bigger Pockets, and it's been a key part of running the Denver Real Estate Investing Podcast. All right, so a little bit about me, and that's less important than about you and what you'll learn today. So I am going to go through a couple of really key points or secrets that's really helped me work with investors. And while I was coming up with this, I put myself back to where I was, 5 or 6 years ago as I was in the early stages of starting this and remembering, okay, where was I at? Where was my mindset? Where was my business? And really put myself back in that time and then fast forward and say, great, what were the things that really made a difference? Because in the reality of things is like, very few things really matter, or most things don't matter, but there's a couple of key things you do, or a couple of key people, or a couple of key strategies that, man, they just work. So I'm gonna go through those 3 items today, those 3 secrets of working with investors. So the first one is why investor agents make 3.5 to 10x the GCI per client compared to your normal residential agents. Secret 2 is how to determine if a property is a good investment in as little as 5 minutes. Hint, it's half science, half art. I'll talk more about that later because your client's goals really matter a lot more in here than you realize and matter a lot more than what the spreadsheet says. Secret 3, the one annual client meeting I use that turns the biggest lie in real estate investing upside down. And honestly, it probably makes our team over $1,000 per hour when we do these things. And this took me a long time to realize, and it's way better than any pies or drop-bys or any gifts you can do out there. It's real value for your client and also real value for us as agents. So as I go through this stuff, I love questions. Don't be shy about asking them in the chat box or drop it in comments. I love reading them. And so through all this, this has basically allowed me to have a hockey stick growth. And I mean, what this is down here is a screenshot of a picture of me from the Your Castle brokerage, and they're a big, 708 person agent firm out here in Colorado. I'm literally on the top page of their recruiting packet. I'm like the recruiting poster child. And guess what? So are a couple of my team members as well who've applied these concepts. So really excited about there because you can see in 2018, I did 0. And now that's above $2 million in GCI. So really cool growth. And actually, we got to update that graph. All right. So moving on to the more important stuff here. What makes me different? Well, taking a step back from being an agent, this is just my philosophy in business in general. I'm an entrepreneur, and me being a real estate agent is not my first rodeo. I've had businesses in the past, some successful, and some not successful as well. We all know how that goes being entrepreneurial. So I started at zero, which is where we all start, unless you have a, you're lucky with a rich uncle or rich parent. If you are, awesome. I didn't have that. I started at zero when it came to network and knowledge, but I knew where I wanted to go and knew where I wanted to focus on for my business. And I knew I wanted to be around the investment space. Like that was my passion. That's what I wanted to do. And I always come back to how can I add value? How can how can my business add so much value that no one else does it? And when the person thinks about what I do, like, wow, Chris Lopez is amazing. He helped me do this. He helped me pay for my kids' college. He helped me retire my wife from her job 5 years early. I want people to think about that type of value I bring them. And also when I talk to my clients, individually, whether it's one-on-one or I'm doing a marketing campaign, I want to have a unique proposition or a unique selling proposition, a unique value about me and my business, why someone will work with me. Now, as a real estate agent, it's very interesting because we don't really compete on price typically. Commission is pretty fixed. We compete a lot of times on value and relationships. So in terms of providing value, it matters way more than negotiating price on there. In reality, I have very, very few clients who ever negotiate price with us because they see what great value we add. So I really focused on, I want to be an investor myself. I want to teach my clients how to be an investor. I'm going to give them the best information in the world and the most value that no one else out there in Denver is going to give them better information than I have, especially for free. And that was my mindset. So I just dove into becoming a student and also creating oh my gosh, so many spreadsheets. But through all that, I started offering investment consultations, strategy sessions, which eventually ran into portfolio analysis sessions, which was much more of how financial planners review their clients' stock and equity portfolios as well. So through all this, we have generated well over 100 plus transactions as a result of these portfolio analyses. And I'll give you a couple success stories here in a minute as well. So again, going back to what's the alternative? Well, in my mind, when I got into real estate, I was like, cool, I just want to go out there and do deals, do transactions because, hey, as long as I'm getting my income, obviously I want to do a great job for my client. I want my income to pay for, myself and my family, but also go out there, take it to invest as well. So I can go out there and do better for my clients and better for myself. Well, what I realized was I did not like doing traditional residential real estate. Nothing against it. It is just not my cup of tea because it doesn't speak with me. Plus, I feel like there's a lot more competition in there and agents are being driven a lot more towards being a commodity versus having some expert value. What Zillow and Redfin, all these multi-billion-dollar Silicon Valley companies, they're not working in our favor. So like I said here, it seems like everyone is an agent these days. Now since we're in 2023 at 6% interest rate, we've called the herd a little bit, but it's still going from it seems like one out of every 5 people, one out of every 7 people is a real estate agent. So just a lot of competition out there. Plus, here's another interesting thing. And this is one of my favorite memes right now at the moment. A lot of people, especially non-investment minded people, we already know they transact less frequently. And what are they doing right now? They're saying, you know what? I got a 2.7% interest rate. I am never selling. I'm never trading up. Now, of course, we know that's going to change down the road, but it's not helping right now with people doing trade-up buys or putting their properties in the market. So we got a couple years of this weird dynamic where people have such low interest rates, they're afraid to give it up. Guess what? Investors are not, because they know that 2.7% is not necessarily a savings. It actually might be costing them money on what they'd be doing instead with that equity or that money for their property. So very different mindset here, which is a big reason I like working with investors. And with investors, it's a lot less emotional, more logical. There's still some emotion in there, but it's a lot more logical because they're looking at this as a business. They're looking at this, how can I go out there and achieve my goals and go out there and help my family get to where they want to be? And, by going back to value, like doing these portfolio analysis sessions, doing investor education, it's just way better value. And in my experience, way better received than typical, hey, here's a Popeye, here's some cookies, here's this. Those are nice and all, but they just don't have much value. All right, so the easy way, it's becoming an investor agent. And this is what I find so fascinating, because this is why I got into real estate years ago, is I wanted to get into real estate, because I wanted to make money for myself and I enjoy helping people, but also I want to become an investor myself. And there's very few industries, there's very few opportunities where you get to like build your own financial future while also making money while doing that and helping your other clients do it as well. So you get this amazing synergistic effect where you've got more of your attention, more of your bandwidth really lined up. And let's be real here. I mean, as agents, how many guys have a 401k plan or profit share matching in your 401k plan from your brokerage? You don't. And that's fine because we are highly compensated entrepreneurs if we go out there and provide a lot of value to the marketplace. So what I realized years ago was, oh, wow, if I become an agent, I can learn the market. I can get paid to learn the market and find deals and then take that money, go out there and invest myself. So, that's why I became an investor-friendly realtor. It just lined up with a lot of my goals. Now, this was when I was in about my mid-30s. But back in college, when I was 19, I went to Virginia Tech. I went there for two reasons. I went there to be an engineer, and I went there for the Corps Cadets. So Virginia Tech is a great engineering school, and they're one of two schools that have an on-campus Corps Cadets, which is like a military, like the Corps, the Naval Academy or West Point. They got on-campus barracks essentially. So it's Texas A&M and Virginia Tech, and I knew engineering and the military is what I wanted to do. Well, after the first year there, I realized, yeah, that's not what I want to do. So like a lot of people in college, I hit a fuck. Okay, ever since like middle school, I knew that's what I wanted to do. What am I going to do now? Well, someone somewhere along the way, my sophomore year, handed me a copy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, I think most of you guys on the webinar have read that book. If you haven't, it's a phenomenal book. It is light on details, but it's powerful at creating a paradigm shift. And when I read the book, and something I read in 3 hours, it literally felt like I was whacked by a 2x4 across the face. It just changed the way I looked at things. And I realized, wow, I don't have to go out there and get a W-2 job. I don't have to go out there and just try to save in the stock market. I can go out there and be an entrepreneur. I can go out there and be an investor and go out there and achieve financial freedom. Because I want to go out there and have fun, live a lifestyle, and eventually as I get older, start a family and be able to spend time with my family and my kids as well. So that got me obsessed with financial freedom. And, I was 20 or 21 at the time, sophomore in college, and it just totally changed the trajectory of my life. So big shout out and a big thank you to Kiyosaki and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so what happened there is I tried to get in real estate investing at first, realized back then, I didn't have the money, didn't have the knowledge, and there was no internet back then. This was like 2002. All the amazing resources now did not exist 21 years ago. So, but what was brand new was online marketing was just growing. So I started an online marketing business, built a good business where I was producing like $10,000, $20,000 a month in cash flow. And as you know what, I got money. I'm escaping the rat race, like Kiyosaki says. I'm going to go out there and start doing day trading. Well, my day trading worked out like most people. And I realized, you know what? I'm not very good at it. And I don't like working for like 3 cents an hour. And it's just so hard to win. But while I was doing all this, I always had like real estate in the back of my mind. And I met a lot of successful people along the way. And running a business and investing in real estate were two very common themes I heard from all these people that were much more successful than me. So about 8 years ago, those businesses officially died. I moved on, and that's what eventually shifted me out here to Denver to become an investor-friendly realtor. As I started as an individual agent 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we started Envision Advisors, which now has 9 agents. We're doing our 500 deals, and we just crank. And we've seen massive growth, all built around the concept of working with investors, helping our clients achieve financial freedom, and also our agents, they want to go out there and achieve financial freedom themselves. So, there's a picture of me and my family. I'm a dad daughter, which I love. So you can see my family there. Like everyone out there, I've got my reasons. I got my why. That's it. I'm not into fancy sports cars. I'm not into like big flashy things, but I care about my family. I care about taking care of them. And also, I just enjoy the game of investing. I enjoy the game of helping people. Like, it's a game I can play my whole life. And so through all of this stuff, by focusing on investors, it's not only led to great business for me as a realtor, it's not only led to me being able to do better investments myself by building up a really good portfolio, which has me well over 50% of my way to my financial freedom goals. But it's led to some really cool opportunities like being featured on numerous bigger pocket shows, having the opportunity to work with Lon Welsh with a bunch of investors. Like, oh my gosh, talk about like two giants in the room, bigger pockets and Lon Welsh. I get the opportunity to work with you guys. Yes, 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 and very humbling. But it all started with that passion of mine to go out there and work with investors. And so here's what I take as the biggest compliment. Let's put me out of the picture for a second because I don't matter that much. It matters what you get and what clients get. And so Lauren Valenotti, she's an amazing case study. So 3 or 4 years ago, she moved from Texas out here to Denver, and she did some wholesaling, did some agent stuff down there, moved to Denver. Like a lot of people wanted to get to Denver and also wanted to get to ski, wanted to ski more. And you can see here, 2019, 2020 is when she started working with investors. You can see the growth there of being a brand new agent in the marketplace, not tons of volume, not tons of traction, but then growing all the way from about 9 deals in 2019 to in 2021, 60 transactions. So that's about 4 million to close to 34 million a year in sales volume. So we're talking high production. And she is always in like the top Your Castle Real Estate Awards. I think every year she's got like one of the top awards on there. Just an absolute beast because, hey, she's a great agent. She hustles. She works hard. She takes her clients, but she also works with a ton of investors as well. So I like to highlight that because these techniques can work with other people as well. And also shows that's duplicatable. In my mind, that is such an important thing. Like, hey, great, this works for me, which is wonderful. But can it work with a client? Yes, it must work with a client. Now, can this work with another agent and that agent's client? Like if it does all that, then we're on to something here. And it has. You saw the stats for Lauren. There's a picture of some of our team members there. There's me in the background and just have an amazing team in Denver here. And so as we launch Property Alignment, we're doing this training. This is really the first time in Q1 this year where I have started sharing in detail how I work with investors outside my team, outside like my direct clients. And so part of this for a couple reasons. One is I really do have the passion to teach. Like I really enjoy that. Like as I've gotten older, achieved the next level of success for me, you always think about ways of giving back once you focus on. And teaching others, whether it's investors or other agents to work with investors, like I love. Like that's one of the things that gets me excited and gets me like going during the day. So let's dive into secret one here. Secret one is that investor agents make 3.5 to 10x the gross commission income per client compared to residential agents. So stop and let that number sink in for a bit because that is a lot if we can say 10x. Why is that? Well, a lot of agents or a lot of clients, they transact every 7 to 10 years. Investor clients are often transacting every 1 to 2 years. You do the math there. So here's another great case study of when Jenny Bayless became an investor-friendly agent. So Jenny had a career as a CPA for about 10 years out of college, great career, great W-2. But while doing that, she was building up some rental properties on the side, in Colorado Springs, and then had built up a really good portfolio, good cash flow. And then early 2020, she and her husband welcomed their first baby in the world. And so between starting a family, moving to a new house, having a good rental portfolio, she's like, you know what? I want to get out of my career and I'm ready to shift. I'm ready to shift gears in my life so I can do a different profession, but also have control over my schedule to take care of my family and do what I need to do for, what's best for my family. So she came out, quit her job, became an agent, and she was working with a lot of clients, just, her network, some friends and family, doing a lot of traditional residential real estate sales. And like a lot of people, it was tough. It's tough as a new agent. It's tough going out there and working with residential agents for all the, residential leads, as we talked about, for all the same reasons. And then she applied the shortcut. She was like, man, I love investing. I want to help more of my clients do investing. I'm going to prioritize and focus on investing. She already had the mindset. She already had the background for it. And she was like, wow, that's my passion. How can I start implementing that? So very soon after she'd been doing some stuff as herself as an agent, she joined the Envision Advisors and she officially expanded us down to Colorado Springs. And two things, she worked with investors, but she also took the marketing techniques I used up here and applied those down to Colorado Springs. And we basically went from about 0 sales in 2020. I think she officially started like in Q4 2020. And then we started marketing. And then 2021 did $22 million in sales in 2021. Talk about a massive ramp up period there. And so much business that she can no longer handle. We had to get another agent on board to help her out down there. So just another great success story about why working with agents, why as an agent working with investors works so well. So as we talked about, clients want to learn about investing, and there's very few agents out there providing that information. Or what's out there is, stuff on Google, stuff on a podcast, or stuff here where it's some crazy number in some other market that doesn't really apply to what we're doing here in our local markets. And because of this, if you just do some very basic marketing techniques and some very basic sales techniques, you get an inordinate amount of results from it. And basically what happens is you become the champion of financial freedom. And this is something a lot of agents, actually very, very few agents talk about. We're talking about, hey, buy your dream home, buy this. Yes, Mr. Client, I know you like this house. You don't like the bathroom. We can paint the damn bathroom. Let's not get worried about that. But instead, we're talking financial freedom. Hey, how can you help your wife? How can you help your husband retire from a job? How can you plan for your kids' college in 15 years? Let's buy a property and pay it off by the time your kids are in college. It becomes a different conversation and becomes a lot more unique to your clients. Going back to adding value and being unique with your clients. So why do I work with investors? This truly is the $1 million question for a couple reasons here. And it's because you can add a lot of value to them. Now, let's go with this. We know the reason for investors. We know the high-level theme from business that we need to add value to people and do something unique. Because if you're like everyone else out there, if there's 100 Chris's and we're all standing in line, someone says, hey, Chris, 100 people turn around. And that is like working with agents. Hey, agent, all the agents turn around. But if you're an investor-focused agent, well, guess what? I have a crowd of 100. There might be you and 1 or 2 other people. A lot less competition. But how do we communicate that? And how do we hook the investors with our value and kind of give them our tractor beam ecosystem? So it's very important to learn a couple of key things about working with investors. And whether you join Property Llama and our program today, just take these notes aside, because this, just applying some of these concepts today, you can do your business and start making more money today by providing more value to your clients. So a very important way to do that is by letting clients know that you understand the market, understanding, hey, you got these goals here. Let me kind of take this abstract goal you have and work backwards so we can get you there. And it's really becoming more like an advisor, or as I like to call myself, a real estate financial planner. And so you put on this different hat and then you build this different relationship. You build a different trust with your clients that no one else is doing. And so ultimately, you're helping them identify a huge goal of theirs, while also illuminating some pain points and some like stressful stuff about this or this or this. And so you make their lives easier, which guess what? If you make someone's life easier, they usually come back and work with you. So the point there is, how can you add a tremendous amount of value to your clients? And with investors, you don't just have to work with investor clients. A ton of our normal clients also want to be investors themselves. So secret number 2, how to determine if a property is a good investment in as little as 5 minutes. So, when I came into becoming an investor, then investor-friendly agent, I did what everyone does. I built a bunch of spreadsheets and I would analyze 50 properties a week. And I'm not kidding. I was like, I am a dedicated, hardcore dude. I get obsessed. And I just get focused on here. So I would analyze properties, build spreadsheets, analyze properties, build spreadsheets, analyze properties, build spreadsheets, analyze properties, build spreadsheets. And I kept doing that. And I went to various classes, built various spreadsheets, took one of Lon Walsh's spreadsheets, broke it down. Hey, and it gets very overwhelming. They're incredibly powerful tools for people that can spend hours and hours and hours a week playing with them, and are also very, very mathematically, focused. However, a lot gets lost in translation because those numbers are only half the battle. And at times I felt like I was in the matrix, just confused. What's going on? What do I need to do here? And for like a lot of things, you just get like death by 20 tabs and a bunch of issues with how to communicate. Oh, I can't get this to work. Oh, I changed something and they broke the whole spreadsheet. And so it just became very challenging for me to, not just really for me to find deals on these properties, but help clients do it. And I'm a big believer, and I want to teach my clients how to fish, not give them a fish, but also how to fish. Obviously, I'm not going to let them make a dumb move with their money, but I don't want them relying on me for doing every single thing along the way. Plus, they're the ones spending $500,000. Make sure you understand what you're spending $500,000 on. So, spreadsheets, too complicated to actually go out there and have to analyze every property. You don't need all these complex spreadsheets. This is where it becomes like half science, but the other half here is half art. And half art is understanding what your clients need, what your goals are, and making sure that you align their risk tolerance, you align their goals, you align their financial situation with the right property. Because I can tell you what, if I talk to 100 clients, I'll get way better results at analyzing 100 properties or even 1,000 properties. In my mind, it's client first, property second, which I know sounds odd, but client first, property second. So with that in mind, you don't need to be a Lon Welsh. You don't need to go out there and build a spreadsheet with 97 tabs in there to go out there and calculate a bunch of fancy stuff. What you need to do is learn the basics and also get really, really good at working with your clients on understanding what their goals are. Oh, sorry. Clicked the wrong slide there. All right, I'm back on track. So this is what happens when I drink too much caffeine and I try to talk and hit the arrow buttons at the same time. So the evolution of all this is that over the last 5 years, I built all these spreadsheets that about 2 years ago, I started working on Property Llama. I recruited an amazing tech team. And so it's a combination of like the knowledge I built from working with investors, doing a bunch of deals, building a bunch of spreadsheets, getting the right team on place. And I spent tons of my time, well over $500,000. I started doing math a few weeks ago for this class. Over $500,000 between dev cost, payroll cost, consulting cost, people cost. It's a huge lift. And my goal there was to say, you know what? There's a better way. There's a way to eliminate spreadsheets. There's a way to make this easy, but no one out there is doing it, which blew my mind. No one on the internet was doing it. The stuff Bigger Pockets was doing, they weren't doing either. I was like, wow, I can do this. I can go out there and build this tool because what I'm doing works. My tactics with agents work. When I talk to my clients, they have success. It works. So start taking all the knowledge, all those years of experience and failures, and put the best practices into Property Llama. Now, I'll be very clear. The last 2 years, this has been an internal tool for me and my team to use while we use it for our clients and also while we develop it to get to a really, really good spot. So you can see here, here's a sample output of Property Llama. So here's just a screenshot of a property, and you can see here it's highlighted red. So it highlights or it focuses on a couple of key metrics on, hey, how does this property work in terms of getting it to that person's goal? So what we're doing here is not just saying, hey, how's this property performing in isolation to a vacuum? And for majority of investors out there, whether experienced or brand new, if things are done in the vacuum, like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Now, especially what you can do here is you can say, hey, here's a good property. Now let's match up with your goals here. Oh, that's that half science, half art, and that's that sweet spot there. And that is what Property Llama and the training help you do. It's that half science, half art. All right, so let's see. Oh, I see some good comments in here. Yep, I see other people relating to working with the regular residential clients in the past. See some frustration on spreadsheets. Yeah, so you guys feel my pain. You get it. All right, so let's move on to the third secret here. And this is one client meeting that I do every single year that essentially adds tremendous value, but also is based off of what was the biggest lie or the biggest misconception I had in real estate investing, and that many of our clients face as well. And when I've gone back and done the math for here, because we all go back, hey, we get a deal. We get paid at the closing table. Great. Well, in that, 45 minutes of closing table, a lot of other time went into there, not just showing the properties, but everything into there. Hey, what's our average dollar per hour? And these meetings on average are worth over $1,000 per hour in gross commission income. So let me ask you a question here. I would love to see your response in the chat box here, because this is a key question in my mind. Is this good advice or bad advice? Buy the property, pay it off, and never sell. Let me know your thoughts on there. Is that the strategy to do it? Buy it, pay it off, or don't follow that? Type in the chat, yes or no, please. All right. Well, that's coming in here. I want to talk about my first rental here because I bought my first rental about 13 years ago now in 2011. And this was before I was an agent, before I got into all the property llama stuff, before I was even in Denver. I was still doing my old business, frankly, trying to like still keep my old internet business, my partnerships all together. Like they were failing. I was just not at the point where I was willing to accept it yet. But I knew that, wow, real estate's so cheap, I got to buy something. So I bought my first condo in 2011, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo for $67,000. Now, 2008 time frame, it was selling for $200,000 plus in boom times. I was like, wow, I got such a bargain on there. I'm going to buy it off and pay it off and enjoy the cash flow. In fact, I'm going to do the smart thing. I'm putting on a 15-year note and pay it off faster so I have a paid off property quicker than otherwise. Bought it, moved on with life, and just started going on with my other business stuff, personal stuff, and just, did that. All right. So I see a couple comments in here. Some people say it depends. Yes, depends on risk level. Great answer. Depends on client goals. Yes. Someone says paid off. Absolutely not. I see a bunch of people saying yes to paying it off. All right. Well, I got good news. I got bad news. I also have some reality checks for people because a lot of people are going to have the same reality check I did, which was not a great one. So here's a screenshot of my property. It was in Reno, Nevada on Charlins Avenue. And this is how the property was performing when I sold it. And it was generating about $4,500 a year in cash flow, which is today's cash flow. Rents minus expenses minus mortgage. And then the annual net operating income or future cash flow, that's $8,500. That's once it's paid off. That right there, this is a very important number. So if you've never used Property Llama, keep this down. Write down that annual net operating income is equal to the future cash flow. And in my mind, this is the way you want to go out there and frame it with yourself and also with your investors. So I learned this, like I said, on the slide here. I ran into a problem. I did the math. So my goal is to make $10,000 a month in passive income through real estate. $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year. So my paid off condo is $700 a month in cash flow or $8,400 a year in cash flow. And that's paid off future cash flow. Well, divide that into my cash flow goals. I need 14.2 paid off condos, which excited me because I knew what I needed to do, but I also got hit hard by reality check because I was like so proud of myself that, man, by the time I'll be right around 40, I'm on my first paid off property. Man, I'll be young. I'm winning. My friends don't have that. Hell yeah. And then I was like, wow, okay, I'll have a paid off property and it's making me $8,000 a year. But how do I acquire another 13.2 properties? I don't have $747,000 in cash to go out there and 25% down payments down. So I was like, how was I supposed to do this? And there's really two options on here. You can go out there and do a bunch of creative stuff, knock on doors, put band signs out, spend 50 hours a week looking for deals. And that is a very, very valid way to do it. Here's a problem. Very few people can do it. And it's a high failure rate. And for you as an agent, that's not scalable for you with your clients as well. So what I did is become a student of real estate investing and say, you know what? I see all these people out there that aren't door knocking and sending out flyers all the time and spending 100 hours a week drumming at deals, but they're way more successful than me. Okay. Nothing wrong with real estate. There's something wrong with how I'm approaching real estate investing. What am I doing wrong? What are those guys doing right? And to be frank, I mean, you guys have seen this. Like, you see a lot of people in real estate and you're like, oh, wait, you're successful? You? Oh, if you're doing it, I can do it as well. Which is very motivating to me because like it gives me a very high chance to go out there and have success. And like I said, I'm obsessive. Like I just have as I've realized recently, I have an obsessive mindset. I probably have adult ADHD as well because I get very focused on things. And so to do this, I went to the extreme. I launched the Denver Real Estate Investing Podcast to do two things: network with people and also interview very successful investors so I could find out how they did it. And also sought out a bunch of mentors. You know, a lot of people here in Denver, you know, Lon Welsh is one of the icons on the industry. And man, I had the privilege to go to his classes, be mentored by him, and just learn from his, like, you know, walking spreadsheet of a mind. And on top of that, man, I just ran deals, built spreadsheets, like so many spreadsheets, like ad nauseum. And so I just did this for 3, 4, 5 years, and it had this huge compounding effect. And I just put the blinders on and went, go, 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 and did this. And so what I realized was that, hey, this linear way of going out there, buying a property, buying a property, buying a property is not the way to go. And relate that to like Monopoly, which I think we've all played Monopoly. We go out there, play Monopoly. What do? You buy a greenhouse, buy a greenhouse, buy a greenhouse, buy a greenhouse, then buy a red hotel. Well, what I realized from a lot of investors out there is that that's not what they're doing. They're going out there and doing techniques. So, hey, they buy a greenhouse and then they're skipping houses 2, 3, and 4, and then buying a red hotel. Now, of course, in real life, we're not buying a greenhouse and buying a red hotel, but I did that in real life. That condo I mentioned, that very first condo I bought in Reno, Nevada, that was my greenhouse, Monopoly board. And then I sold it and redeployed the equity into a fourplex here in Westminster, or the Red Hotel. I got the economies of scale and I stacked up from a single family home to a multifamily. So with the fourplexes, what happened was I was able to jump from one property to 4 on there and increase my monthly cash flow by like $1,000 plus, over $1,000 a month. I was able to get a bigger asset, but most importantly, it moved me closer to my goals. I went from a very low return on my equity to a very high return on my equity. And so what that does is that's how you speed things up. And this concept around return on equity, this is the concept that people don't talk about enough, is that return equity, that very, very bottom bullet point on there. Why? Well, this is what dramatically accelerates wealth building. If you go back to that screenshot a few minutes ago, that's what allows you to skip buying houses 2, 3, and 4 and jump from 1 to a fourplex. You don't have to think linearly, because they're able to go out there and take the equity and redeploy it. Because while my cash flow was not that good on the property, what was really good was that I had a ton of equity in there. And I had close to $200,000 in equity in there that I was able to go out there and redeploy. Now, would you rather have $4,000 a year or, $180,000 to $200,000 in cash? I'll take that big chunk of cash. And this is something that the market has just given us. Like, don't worry about cash flow. Don't explain things. Just say, hey, this is what the market gave me. I'm going to take it and go out there and reinvest it. So this comes down to our portfolio analysis session. Now I know I'm going fast here. I want to hit a couple of key concepts on there about buying a property and paying it off is not the way to go for the vast majority of clients. And for the vast majority of agents on the call here, that's not the strategy for you to go out there and achieve your financial freedom. But learning return equity is that key. And so I did that for myself. And then I implemented it with my own clients by doing our annual portfolio analysis session. Like I said, these are like my annual real estate financial planning sessions I do. And this has really become like a key to our secret sauce. And so while a lot of agents saw a huge reduction in business in 2020, 35, 40% plus, our team only saw a 12% reduction. Why? Well, because we were working with investors and because I do all these portfolio analysis of people. And even before the market changed, they already had plans mapped out. They knew, hey, I want to get this goal in 10 years, 15 years. Here's what I need to do. So they're a lot less sensitive to market changes on there. So to do these portfolio analysis sessions, investors need really good visibility plus a reality check. And that is what Property Llama does, because a lot of people, when they get into real estate or they look at their real estate, like, oh, I bought this property. It was an 8% cap rate 7 years ago. Or man, now it's cash flowing like $1,500 a month. They get fixated on two things: the wrong metrics, which after you own a property for a long time no longer matter, or they're still fixated on when they bought it 5, 6, 7 years ago. And so what we have to do here is get people up to current numbers and start using the right ways to evaluate their property. So current numbers and using return equity. And then what happens is we point out the obvious that we know now, or I know now, and you will soon as well, but they don't. They're sitting on a gold mine of equity. And so you do these portfolio analysis sessions, they get a clear idea of what's going on with their goals. their portfolio, how much equity they have, and now they have the facts. They have their goals, and they go out there and make the correct decision to help their goals, or help them achieve their goals, I should say. And guess what? If you do that, if you're that conduit, if you're that advisor, now they're talking to you about everything real estate related. And now they're talking to their friends, well, oh, my agent did this, my agent did this, my agent did this, because no other agents are doing it. So you're going to become that focus with them, that guy, that advisor to them. Because the vast majority of real estate millionaires I met, the way they got there was by optimizing their return on equity, not by buying property and paying it off. Now, I'm not saying that's not possible, but I'm saying 95%, if not more, they focus on return equity. And the other 5%, they do it the other way, which if most people are doing it this way, probably means a good sign. And so what happens here as we do these portfolio analysis reviews is we get this global perspective of their portfolio, and we just get a ton of value, or they get a ton of value, which leads to transaction pipeline for us. All right, so I don't want to get stuck in the details about return on equity because it is a hard concept. And everything I'm going through the last like 30 minutes on here really took me about 9 months to really internalize this concept, and you're getting a 30-minute fire hose. So hopefully you're tracking. If you're not, come back, watch the replay. But how do you calculate return equity? Well, you take all the ways to make money in real estate, which are 4 ways to make money in real estate: cash flow, appreciation, debt pay down, and depreciation. And you divide it by the current equity, which is present value by a loan balance. So you can figure all this out and calculate it, but it gets complicated and clunky. Trust me, I've been there and done that. And we also built Property Llama to make it simple, to make it easy. And you can see there in that lower right, I got that red dashed line there. 7.53% is the return on equity. That was return on equity on that condo I had in Reno. Now let's stop for a second and think about that, because 7.5%, that's not an exciting return. That's like you make the stock market. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, wow, if I'm making the same, or actually in this case, less than the stock market, but I have to deal with tenants, toilets, and liabilities, I want to make a premium. And most real estate investors are not happy unless they're getting a double-digit return on their money or their equity. And I'm the same way. And I say it's because, you know what? 10 days ago, my property manager texted me Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And those text messages are never good text messages. He's like, hey, got a minute? I was like, sure. I called him. Hey, so your place in North Denver, a pipe burst and it flooded the place, and your tenant's been MIA for like 7 days. So we have 7 days of water damage with just flooding. Oh, okay. I'll make some good money on that because that's a headache. And I have a big insurance premium or a big insurance deductible to write as well. So taking a step back to here, this is why I built Property Llama, to make it a simple tool. Because what happens is agents and investors get bogged down in building all these advanced spreadsheets and then all these complex formulas, and people just get lost, and a confused person doesn't take action. So Property Llama makes it so all the data is in one place for you and the client. No more messy spreadsheets, but now it lives in the cloud. I can access it anytime I need to. My clients can access it anytime they need to as well. And not only that, but they can get all these amazing scenarios and perspectives and tips on their portfolio that you can't get through a spreadsheet. And every time we update the software, guess what? We don't update version 1.2 in our spreadsheet and you're out of luck. No, it's updated on the whole software system, and you and your clients get that as well. And so through all of this, using the software, using these concepts, and doing these portfolio analysis sessions, approximately 1/3 of every portfolio analysis session has a high result of leading to a real estate transaction in the next 8 to 12 months. And now if the market is probably more like 8 to 15 months, things are going out a little bit longer now, but it leads out to a huge amount of pipeline. So think about this. I'm thinking about 1/3 of our portfolio analysis sessions turn into a deal opportunity. Now let's just say 1 out of 10. Let's go from a 30% down to a 10% opportunity close rate. Well, that's still over like $1,000 per hour per PA session. All right. So how do you work with investors in a simple way with using Property Llama? So step 1 is invite your clients to use Property Llama. But here's another technique. Here's the art part, not just science, but here's the art part. We give you a My Story PowerPoint template that helps you really internalize your story, your goals, and also internalize your portfolio. It basically makes you do a portfolio analysis on yourself. And then what we do there is we work with you, help you understand the numbers, but also clarify your goals, which is tremendously helpful to you as an investor. And then it's very helpful for your clients because now when you start talking to them, you may share the PowerPoint, you may not, but you went there and created the document, you know the main points, you know what works well. Plus, we run through our marketing machine, our dealer view, and we help make sure you're saying things the right way. You're also presenting numbers the right way, and you're making the best moves of your portfolio. So it positions you as the expert. It plants to see that you're doing this, there's opportunity out there, and that you're an expert in the space. It gets the client excited. So step number 2, you then have your client enter their properties into the software. Most of my clients do it. Occasionally I'll do it for them. But what this does, it gets all the data in there, and we get into this one view where they have 3, 4, 5, 6 properties, or even one property into there. And now the software does its magic. We get to view it, and we can start running some scenarios. And step number 3, it's pretty simple. You schedule a time to sit down and do the portfolio analysis. Could be over a Google Meet, could be over a Zoom call, or could be in person over a cup of coffee. Doesn't matter. Just make sure you have a computer screen and Wi-Fi access so you can actually go through it. That's what really matters. You go through that, and we have a step-by-step process that actually tells you how to start the conversation, what's the first metric to look at, and what to say, how to transition from their goals to this. Hey, is your portfolio on track? Is it not? We walk you through everything step by step in conjunction with the software to make sure it's working for you and your clients. Because here's what I used to have to do. It would be me building spreadsheets, and then I would ask them information, get half the data back, fill the spreadsheet, send it back to them, get the data, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd meet with them, answer questions, build a spreadsheet, do my screen share, talk about, they want a copy of the spreadsheet. I send them a copy of the spreadsheet, and they would more often not go out there, change numbers. And then a good percent of them would go out there, not only change numbers, but change formula on tab, 3, cell B32. And they email me back a spreadsheet 2 weeks. They're like, hey, I did this. I can't understand why this property's not working. And now I'm spending, half an hour playing tech support, troubleshooting the spreadsheet that I freaking built, or replugging to my spreadsheet and be like, yeah, well, buddy, like you deleted the formula here. Like, come on, man. And then, hey, that happens. You talk. And since real estate is not a get rich quick cycle or fast transaction cycle, hey, we would talk, they do this, life happens. And then 3 months later, we're talking again. And I'm not an organized person. So this is definitely me and my person not being helpful here. I'm like, oh, we're talking again. Let me go search my email and find the spreadsheet. Oh, but you know what? I have John version 1.2. And actually now I've created version 1.4 because I have a new formula here that I want to do. Okay, let me go back here and migrate this. And I would just spend hours doing like very low value activities, searching emails, sending stuff, copying cell C31 to cell C32 in the other spreadsheet, blah, 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 blah. Really tough, not exciting to do. Built monster spreadsheets. And I was like, all right, I got the solution. I got the monster spreadsheet. I'm going to go out there and hire someone, and their full-time job is to sit down and run people through the spreadsheets. And then so I shifted from my time doing that to a dedicated portfolio analysis person that was not a real estate agent, that was not doing deals. They were just on salary doing these, which sounded great, but ran into other issues. And of course, like that's not very duplicatable. Not many people can say, hey, I'm going to hire you full time. Let me pay you a monthly salary, and you just do this all day long. So with all that, the evolution of Property Llama, or the evolution turned into Property Llama, which is that hybrid of where, hey, we took all the spreadsheet, we translated into the software, and we built out the best practice. It's built around the way that we review portfolios, the way that clients ask questions, and allow us to go out there and model things. And we build in very quick things. So, hey, if you want to see how something can work in your portfolio, now I can't do this as a screenshot here, but there at the bottom right here, that blue line, it's just a slider. You can slide it left, slide it right, and you'll get a very high level. Hey, if I took out equity from this property to maximize my return equity, and I put $200,000 in another property, here's how much closer it gets me to my goals. Here's how much closer it gets to my future goals. So it's a really handy tool out there to help go out there and model it. And then within like a couple of clicks, you can do some very cool trade-up scenarios. Now, I know there's a lot going on the spreadsheet here, but I want to highlight, one thing. Now, over on the left, you can see annual NOI, $115,000 or $245,000. So through one trade-up, we're able to go out there and show how it can model their future cash flow. It spits out graphs. That red line, that red horizontal line there is that goal. And that yellow line is if you do a new property versus not. So you can see, hey, now I hit my goal in 10 years versus 25 years. So how would you like to show a client by doing 1 or 2 chess moves of their portfolio to now get to their goal 10, 15, 20 years earlier? Helps them achieve their goals, also leads to transactions for us. So we got the trade-up scenario on there. That goes through everything step by step, where you can click it. Okay, and that slide's not working. There's a little quick video demo of how to go out there and do it. But basically, like, to sum this up, man, I've put over $500,000 over 5 years and a ton of my own human labor in here to build this platform. And I did that because I had a vision. I want to do it for myself. Like I said, this is a big game to me. I was like, wow, I can do this for myself. I can do it for my team. I can do it for my clients. And I see a need out there in the entire real estate investing landscape. Plus, I can create a tool that helps agents go out there and provide such unique value that they will not be commoditized. They don't have to go out there and compete against Zillow or Redfin on things. So in parallel, we did the PA process, built spreadsheets, hired people, and then really started building out Property Llama to make it easier so it does all the heavy lifting. Then we as agents get to do more of the art, more of the relationship building, more like, hey, what are your goals, Mr. and Mrs. John Smith? What do you want to do here? So think about this for a second. If you had 10 clients, whether regular clients or investor clients, doesn't matter, but 10 clients, because even non-investor clients, they want to become investors themselves. What would an extra 1 or 2 or 3 transactions a year do for your business? And a lot of times we're talking, $30,000, $40,000 in GCI. That's a lot. That's when to go out there and pay off some debt, or go out there and use as a partial down payment on a rental property, go out there and invest with it. Like, you only have to do a couple transactions, start seeing some huge benefit from this. So I know you're probably feeling like you're drinking from a fire hose. I'm sorry, I drink fast. I drink my caffeine a day. I'm at like 300 milligrams of caffeine right now for this webinar. So maybe a little bit more. I need it to talk even faster. But if you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, don't worry about it. That's normal. Give me about 10 more minutes, and I'll go you through some step-by-step processes how you can implement this and basically get Property Llama for free as you start doing deals. So from a high level, it's really 2 major components here. It is you are getting a Property Llama, which is the tool. It's the analysis software. You get that for free as you're going through our 7-figure investor agent training program. And the 7-figure investor agent training program, it's built around all the stuff I've talked about and all the success I've done, all the best practices, all the scripts, all this. I've basically taken all that stuff I've done for myself and vision advisors and put it into like a business in the box. And so why do we create this training? Well, it's to kind of go over all the questions we've answered here. What's the best way to find more investors and gain their trust? What's the best place to meet investor clients? What's the biggest challenge for here? How do I generate more investor leads? All that's answered through the training on here and walks you through step by step. So who's this training for? It is for agents who are investors themselves or want to invest. And that right there, I mean, that should be everyone on this webinar. I think it is. Because as agents, I found myself, most people like me, they want to do deals and help their clients. They also want to own, 10 rental properties themselves. Or just agents with investor clients, agents who want more investor clients. Basically, all of you here today, because I have not met an agent that does not want to own a rental portfolio themselves, nor want to grow their client base more and diversify away from almost 100% residential retail clients to also investor clients. It's always good to have multiple streams of income and multiple streams of clients. So here's another great example for just more proof in the pudding. A lot of you guys know Preston Newberry. He started working with me in, I think it was like early 2019, really started doing the investor-focused stuff with the marketing tactics, working with investors. Again, here's another picture of him being a poster child in the year House recruiting. You can see in 2019, 12 million volume, 2020, 28 million volume, 2021, 23 million sales volume. So again, solid numbers and some big triple-digit growth. So if you're not a finance person, don't worry about it. Some of the people I talked about, they're not finance people. They're not math people. You don't need to worry about spreadsheets. You don't worry about building them. You can say, wow, I don't need this anymore. Let me pause here for a second because I glance over this way too often and I forget this. take a deep breath, because I am now getting some emotional shock as to like how much stress and anxiety and freaking frustration I had with like spreadsheets. Like, gosh, like how complicated it was to do all this and teach my clients, teach all this. You know what? We've taken care of all that. Now you have to put in some effort, you have to know some of this, but like that heavy lifting, that frustrating stuff, or I need an MBA and this stuff, you don't need. Honestly, if you're a good agent that knows how to build relationships and do contracts, get things to the closing table, that's a much more important skill. One that I won't teach you, but I'll teach you how to get more people and do more deals with your clients. But we'll walk you through it all. Because honestly, if you can actually go out there and do deals on yourself, that's way harder. If you're, 80, 90% of agents fail the first year or two, if you're past that, you've done the hard part. You can go out there and implement this no problem. So we have packaged all this into a 6-week investor agent training with office hours. So as I said earlier, we're going to give you our PowerPoint template to help clarify and then share your story and explain your real estate investing techniques with your clients. We'll give you in-depth portfolio analysis training, which is 50% science, 50% art. We'll give you the plan to go out there and scale your business, because a lot of times these are all techniques you can go out there and apply to your current client base. A lot of you have clients out there that are sitting on a bunch of equity, have never invested, but want to become a real estate investor. They're not excited about the stock market. We've all seen what Bitcoin has done as well. Plus, you get bi-weekly check-in calls with me and my team to help hold you accountable and just help you answer any questions and see what other people in the program are doing. So here's a huge benefit, because, we can never not stop improving things. You get lifetime access to this course. Anytime we update it, we add new videos, add new scripts, you have access to it. Once you're in, you have lifetime access for it. And I'm constantly updating it for my own business and also for everyone else on this call who are members as well. So you get that 6-week investor agent mastermind program, which is like a $3,500 value. You also get 6 months of Property Llama Professional for free. Now, Property Llama Professional is like the tier that most of our clients go to when they use Property Llama with their clients. And it's the tool that allows you to go out there and do these portfolio analysis sessions at scale and minimize the frustration and friction of spreadsheets and this and this and this. Automate things. The formulas are pre-built in there and kind of guides you through step by step. So you get access to that. You can invite your clients. But here's a really cool thing that it really started hitting me like a year ago, actually like a year and a half ago, was once we had the system up and running, like good enough where I was actually able to start using it. My clients would email me. I still have this very vivid memory, and it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is $1 million tool just for me. It was a Saturday morning, and my Saturday mornings, I usually spend a couple hours just trying to crank through stuff and, get stuff done. I had like 3 clients emailing about questions. And in a matter of 5 minutes for each client, I logged into Property Llama, pulled up their account, pulled up the property, looked at it, took a screenshot, sent a few notes back and say, do this, hey, talk to this person, talk to this lender. We're going to CMA for you here. Do this and let's talk next week. Now I did that. What used to take me like an hour of like that strenuous back and forth, I did in like 5-8 minutes. And to be able to view that client's portfolio is gold. And I was also able to then also go out here and start doing some of those quick scenarios in a couple of clicks, or sometimes just slider withdrawals. They could come in here and start doing all of that as well. So that's all included in the Property Llama Professional account. And this is also a tool you use to go out there and invite your clients to portfolio analysis sessions and all of that. So here's a feature we just rolled out, and we're constantly rolling out new features for Property Llama, is able to go out there and share a link to their portfolio. And what that does is, this has been one of the major friction points, is we have everything, password protected. They want to see something or share something. Now you can easily share a scenario or trade up with a client, or they can share it with you, or they can share with their lender or their spouse or their partner. Because what happens, you have this amazing conversation with a client, they're like, oh, this is great. Let me go tell my wife. Let me go tell this person. And what happens? Man, you just get, a lot of times you lose a client then. Because what happens is, and it's usually no ill will in the client, but they go out there and try to explain what you did to someone else. And it's usually a really, really poor explanation. So this helps to minimize that game of telephone and losing the high-level communication. So get a question here about, okay, Greg, it's 6 months of Property Llama for free. Well, what happens after 6 months? Well, Property Llama Professional, without the special pricing, I think it's close to like $200 a month. But if you do, or once you do this program, you get the special pricing, which is below $100, when it's time to renew. Or if you need to go lower for budget reasons, we have programs low as like $30 some a month. Very, very inexpensive. And we pick 6 months for a reason, because by 6 months, you'll have time to go through the training, use software, talk to your clients, and figure out, hey, what's the right fit? What's the right level for your business? And so we'll work with you on that to make sure you get the right program for you. Now, 6 months of Property Llama Professional with 50 investor invites, meaning 50 investor accounts, is about $1,200 value. So you get the 6 months of Property Llama Professional for free, plus the 6-week investor agent training mastermind program. So just in about $5,000 in value. Now, all this is, the high level stuff. Hey, do this, do this, do this. And this is oftentimes where the rubber meets the road. It's our 2 co-pilot portfolio analysis sessions from all the agents. Like, hey, I get this, I like this, but hey, I need a little bit of help. I need a little bit of training wheels. Can you help me out with this? Yes. And we have found the sweet spot of like doing 1 or 2, we say co-piloted sessions, either like a 3-way phone call or 3-way meeting, whatever it is, where we sit down either with you and your client or just you and your own. We will go through into the portfolio analysis sessions with you. Ideally, we want you to do them, so we help teach you. Again, we want to teach you how to fish, not give you a fish. Because for you to go out there and build $1 million business, you need to learn these techniques to be able to go out there and do it on your own without having to rely on us for every single darn detail. So we'll help you prep for it, or we'll carry out the call for your client or whatever in between. We'll talk to you before and help you get the right setup for that. But those 2 co-pilot PA sessions are worth about $800. So you get the 2 co-pilot calls, the 6 months worth of Property Llama Professional, plus the 6-week investor agent mastermind program. Now, as some other bonuses on here is I'll give you some of my phone scripts, my meeting scripts on how I talk to clients, how I filter people, how I qualify them. And 2 reasons: how I qualify for them, and also how I explain my value proposition and set myself up for success. So you get these scripts on how to qualify and how to get the person's goals aligned with reality in the marketplace. Oh, you want a 22% cap rate property? Cool. I would love a unicorn as well. So my 5-year-old daughter, but we can't do that, Mr. Client. Here's the reality. Here's this. So I teach you how to get the alignment, give them the reality check. And most people come and like, okay, that makes sense. Let me play within the laws of reality. Now, if they don't, hey, that's fine. While it stinks, we're like, hey, you want that unicorn? We're not going to find that here. You got to go somewhere else. So while it's never fun to lose a client, you know what's worse? Taking on a client with the wrong expectations. All they do is waste your time. Let's go look at 92 properties and write 30 lowball offers. Hell no. Waste of my time and waste of their time. So we educate you on how to do that, the client, and also get them realistic on what's feasible out there, because, clients see the get rich quick stuff on YouTube and all that stuff. We help explain to them, hey, here is how you build wealth in real estate. So through all this, you control the conversation, you qualify, and demonstrates that you're an expert in there, and sets you up for getting people on an action plan, which in a couple steps down the pipeline from there, a couple steps down the sales funnel, gets people to sign the BA docs or the listing docs with us. So you get the discovery call script for free, which is like a $500 value, the 2 co-pilot calls, the 6 months worth of Property Llama, plus the 6 weeks of investor agent training. That's all about $6,000 in value right there. Plus, I'm going to give you my first-time investor strategy script call as well. So again, very similar to a discovery call, but this really geared towards the new investor. Discovery call is someone that already is investing. First-time investors for people, hey, I'm interested in investing, but I don't know what to do or where to start. So we help walk them through their goals, look at their scenario, and actually put together a game plan. Because if you guys have bought a rental for yourself or for a client, there's 2 types of people. People that have bought a rental property and those that have not. And there's just, there's a big difference on there, big learning curve difference. So give you the script on there so you can talk to the person, get them framed, get the mindset framed correctly. But also for a lot of our clients, if you guys had a client that bought a property 5 years ago, guess what? They're probably sitting on a ton of equity, like a gold mine worth of equity, where you can say, you know what? We can take basically all this free money, all this house money you have from the market. Let's go out here and buy a duplex. Let's go out here and buy another investment and go out there and get this done. So with that first-time investor script's like a $500 value, plus discovery call script, plus the 2 co-pilot calls, plus the 6 months of Property Llama, plus the 6-week agent training program, like $6,500 in value. And now just to help like make this super special and also just a no-brainer, we're getting rid of a lot of like the 50-seat user accounts or 3 portfolios per client or number of shareable links, unlimited on all that, plus more detailed comparison charts, just to give you more value and hopefully make it a much more no-brainer as well. All right. So for the first 10 people that subscribe to the 7 Investor Agent program, to get all that, for free, I'm gonna give you 2 really good bonuses because I want to make this such a no-brainer that I get 10 more people on board with me. Get a one-on-one phone call with me to create your growth plan. And this is something that we will do not right in the beginning, but after you've been in the program for a couple of weeks, you kind of need to like get the basics down. You got to crawl. I want you walking first some as well. So we have a very impactful call. I don't want to be like, oh, day one. Okay, our call is teaching you where to log in here or click here. No. That's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. I want you to go through part of the training program, use a software, have some wins, hit a couple roadblocks, say, hey, great, I understand this. I do this. Now, how do I go out there and scale this? How do I go out there and really integrate this with my clients, integrate this in the long run? That's when you and I will talk, and that's where my value is really, really good. So we'll do a one-on-one phone call at some point in the training program. The second big bonus is you get lifetime access to my team's marketing SOP library. SOP is Standard Operating Procedure Library. Now, here's a great thing. I'm a great marketer. I'm very much on the art side. I know the big picture. I communicate and get people taking action, doing all this. I am not very good on the science side when it comes to like doing marketing and business operations. But you know what? My team, they're amazing. I'm the right brain and they're the left brain or whatever it is. So we've been going through the last, 12 months building our SOP so we can automate it, we can scale it. We can have numerous team members work across it, either here locally, remote associates, whatever it is. We're building out our SOP library. And this is a never-ending library we're building out. We got an extensive wiki for it. You get access to it. We're adding more, like we're doing 2 more SOPs like this week or next week for our webinars. We just completely revamped our webinar strategy, our webinar process. Guess what? In whatever, a week, or maybe actually probably a couple weeks once you have it finalized, it's in there. You have access to it. So for the first 10 people, you get access to that. So the value on that, I'd put it as priceless because, I'm good at growth and those SOPs, you're getting like what my overhead on the media company, all this is not too far from like 6 figures a month. And we're constantly working SOPs. You get that for free. So when I was looking at all this, I asked myself, okay, how can I make it such a no-brainer and value for people? So if all we did was this, gave you a system that add value to investors and create clients for life, would it be worth it? Yes. Is positioning you and branding you as a real estate investing expert worth it? Yes. Because that sets you up for getting investor clients who transact way more frequently, like every 1 to 2 years, maybe not that much, but less than 7 or 10 years. Is it worth it? Yes. If I've given you a proven framework for converting the owner-occupant clients into loyal investor clients, would it be worth it? Yes, I think so. If I give you a step-by-step instructions on my marketing machine that help grow Envision Advisors to 100 million in sales volume a year, would it be worth it? I would hope so, and I would think so. And so I really had 2 choices as my team and I were talking about this. Like, all right, how do we communicate value? How do we get it out there? And it's always this like, hey, where's the sweet spot? Where's the right balance on there? So the first option is just go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible. And I don't like that model. I've done that in the past, creating products. I've also done that in the past myself as a user, and a very low success rate, lots of churn. Not really liking it. Second option requires a little bit higher investment, higher price point. But then me and my team can devote more time and more resource to help effectively onboard you and guarantee your success. So the special launch pricing is not the $6,485 I talked about if we add it up. It's $997. So go there and get that and get all the details. Go to try.propertyllama.com/go. And we will throw that in the show notes as well in the chat. If you can do that, that would be phenomenal. Bello, please do that. So get the link on there. Like I said, the first 10 people that go on there, subscribe to it, they get access to all that. And plus those 2 big bonuses on the one-on-one phone calls and the marketing SOPs. Everything else, I'll keep giving with that amazing value. My time for one phone calls is limited. That's something that does not scale very well. So I have to be very mindful of my time. I am a action-oriented person. A big reason I've had success is because I take action. Now, a lot of times I kind of like jump off the cliff and build my parachute on the way down, which works out most of the time. And I found that entrepreneurs, that agents with that same mindset, they do a lot better. They have a lot higher success rate as well. So I want people to take action, and I like to reward action as well because I know I'd rather spend time with you because we'll probably get more success that way as well. All right. So if it's $997 value, go to try.propertyllama.com/go. And I'll give you all the checkout page stuff there, all the value, all the breakdown, all the normal stuff on there. So go there, and then it's pretty simple. You can see the breakdown of the value there, so it's written out, and then go enter your first name. Go type in your last name, go type in your email address, type in your phone number, and type in a credit card number and click pay. Locks in your spot, takes care of it, and one of our team members will reach out to start onboarding. Now, here's a guarantee. I want to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied, we will refund your money, no questions asked. Even if it's down to the last minute, the 11th hour, I'll refund your money. Now, we'll say, great, I'm sorry to hear that. Here's your money back. Hey, what happened? Tell us what happened. I want to kind of learn so we can always improve. But you know what? You get your money back because I feel very confident about this. And also, here's the thing. You know what my main business is? My main business is running Envision Advisors. My main business is not a coaching program. I do deals. I do business. So I'm very focused on doing that and showing, hey, here's what I'm doing. If you like it, great. If it works for you, great. Take it. If it doesn't, hey, that's fine. No hard feelings because you know what? We make money off doing deals. So to get started, go to try.propertyllama.com/go. And I want to spend the next about 10 minutes going through a couple of questions and answers because there's been a bunch piling up here in the chat box. So I'm going to start answering those and throwing a few up on the screen here to go through those. And then we'll spend the next 10 minutes answering those while we're also getting hopefully a few people subscribed on there and also in that initial program. All right. So question number one, and this is a question I get all the time right now. Will this work in the current environment? Will this work in the current 6%, 7% interest rate environment? Yes, it will. In fact, I think this is the time to go out there and spend more time talking about it with clients because right now, what's going on? It's all the scary media headlines. The world is falling. The Fed keeps raising all these interest rates. Ukraine is about to have a nuclear bomb dropped off by Russia. This is happening here. Like, it's depressive stuff. And like, we all know, like, CNN really stands for constant negative news out there. So this is something where we can be that positive influence on people. And for a lot of our clients out there who own rental properties, the vast majority of them, they have a lot of opportunities to make moves in this current marketplace right now. Like we had a bunch of clients in February go out there and buy or sell a property because it made sense for them based off of their plan and that their 10-year, 20-year plan. Hey, this hiccup in interest rates or this change here. Yes, it changed a little bit like the day-to-day returns. Like, hey, okay, great. We're making a little bit less cash flow today than we were planning on a year ago. But you know what? In the long run, it still gets you that future cash flow number. And so it still makes sense in today's environment. And in fact, I think this is like the time to double down on work harder, work more. Because like I said, people are listening to all this nonsense out there. They're confused, they're depressed. And also a bunch of agents are dropping out of the marketplace as well. Gain market share. Next question. What if I can't make it to the live sessions? No worries. Everything is recorded. We have notes, we have videos, we have PowerPoint decks. Download them. And then even if you can't view it live, it doesn't matter about asking questions. You can ask questions, email it to us. We have a private Slack channel, which is kind of like the new, more modern, like Facebook group without all the annoying stuff and your relatives spouting political nonsense. We're very focused on here. Let's do and deliver. Let's give value. So if you can't make it live, don't worry about it. All right, cool. I see a note from Bello. We've Mike. Congrats. Welcome to the agent training program. Love to have you on board. So we got some more stuff loading in there as well. Cool. So we got some people rolling in here. Awesome. Bella, make sure you reach out to them, please. All right, next question. Sorry, back to here. I just get distracted easy talking about this stuff. All right, question. When will I see results? Well, you're not going to see results tomorrow. You're not going to see results in a weekend transaction. It's like the same way. Like we all know investing in real estate is not a get-rich-quick thing. But in 5 years, 10 years, you start seeing some major results. Here's the good news. It's not going to take 5 or 10 years to see results. what you'll see is you're going to see some immediate, amazing communication with your clients. They're like, wow, this is amazing. So you'll get some immediate feedback loop, which will give you that affirmation, like, wow, what I'm doing, what I'm talking about, this is worthwhile. This is great. So you get the immediate feedback loop. And if you talk to 10 people here, I guarantee you that a handful of those people, somewhere between 1 and 3, will have some type of transaction forecast the next 18 months. So they start building pipeline. And we all, as agents, pipeline is what matters. We need pipeline because it's very rare a deal just falls in our laps. Hey, when that happens, we take it. But usually it's because we spent months, sometimes years of talking to people. So they'll start building pipeline immediately. Another question, can I just sign up for Property Llama? Yes, you can. Frankly, I kind of don't want you to, though, because it's like I said, that's like selling you the tool, but not telling you how to use the tool. I'm a big believer. I want to make sure you don't chop off a finger, for probably not the best metaphor there, but yeah, this is a assembly line. This is not an easy tool. This is not like, oh, here's a screwdriver. You know how to use it. This is a little bit more complex, a little more advanced, a few more knobs to turn, a little more things you can do on here. So you can sign up for it. If you want to email us a link, the price is much higher on a monthly basis than is through this program. But if you want to go for it, by making this offer a lot less expensive, because I want people to have the tool, but also have the education so they use it, because that's better for you. And from our business perspective, that hopefully means in a couple of years, you're still using the software as well, because you know how to use it and you successfully implement it into your business. Another question, will this work for me? It depends. That's always my famous answer. If you apply the techniques, you go out there and learn the stuff, you go out there and follow our scripts and go out there and talk to people, yes, it will work for you. Again, if it doesn't, email us back and we'll give you back that money back guarantee. A question, what if I already have a Property Llama account? Well, it depends. I know a lot of people, as we were doing our launch for Property Llama the last little bit, we've had tons of agents who have accounts on there as investors, probably not the agent account. The agent account is what gives you that superpower of getting other clients viewing it, using the software and link to their account. And you get to go out there and use it. So if you already have an account, hey, no problems, sign up, let us know, and we'll get that account transitioned over to an agent account. So you can still use it as an investor, but now as a real estate agent professional, you can use it with your clients as well. So a question, what happens after the first 6 months? I'll answer that again. So after in this program, you get 6 months of Property Llama Professional for free. Normally, it's $199 a month. Anyone that comes to this program, you get a grandfathered price less than $100. Like I think it's like $97 or $99. But if you need to go lower during all the features, we have other programs as low as like $39 a month. So if you need to continue, you will. If not, no worries. You take the knowledge, you export the data, and move on your way to go out and do what's best for your business. End of the day, we want to set you up for success. And for a lot of people, that would mean a long-term relationship with Property Llama. For others, it doesn't. Do you have a payment plan? Do you have a payment plan? Right now, I don't think we do. I'm not even sure. No, we don't. If you need a payment plan, let me know. We can work with you. But it's also $1,000. Like if you can't invest $1,000 in business right now, I'd frankly say, you know what, you may need to hold off a bit, because this will not turn money into you tomorrow. If you need $1,000 to pay a bill next month, this is an investment, and it's going to take months to start getting income back from it. Not results, but actually income back from it. So if you need a payment plan or $1,000 a lot for you right now, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk on the phone, help you figure things out. But if you're that type of money, this is probably not for you. Am I one of the top 10 to get in a call with you? Well, it depends. I'm checking my notes here from Bello. I see we've got at least 6 people, I think it looks like, and you're already registered. So still some time left, it looks like. Apparently, we have a little bit of a data lag between registrations when I get notified on here. So we got some people. Looks like we have some room left. So if you're not sure, ping me. Otherwise, go subscribe. And if you don't like it a week later, we'll give you your money back. Can I print or export these reports? Yes, you can. And so this is one of the cool things about Property Llama. We're always like building new features on here. Because keep in mind, what is my business? I am an investor-friendly realtor myself as well. So I want to go through this and I build the tools out based on what I need, what my agents need, what my clients need, and now what feedback we get from other Property Llama and seven-figure investor agent members as well. So yes, you can export it with a shareable link. You can print it out. And we're making new features. Like one of the features identified a few weeks ago, as we're doing a lot more like listing presentations, showing people, hey, sell this rental, buy this, is we're going to build out reports that actually basically like pre-populates PowerPoint slides for you. So you can sit down and like show your clients where, hey, once the data's in there, hit a few buttons and it prints you out a report or a PowerPoint deck. That's not ready yet, but we're always constantly doing all these small things. Hey, make this better, make this better, make this. Hey, what's the next version of spreadsheet? What's the next version of software? You get all that for free. And you don't have to go out there and download it and then upgrade or then update 90 spreadsheets with your clients. Nope, all done in the software. Another question, do you offer support? Oh, that's a great question. Do you offer support if we get stuck? Yes, I do. I say yes, we do, because I want to emphasize I have an amazing team behind me. Now, it's often my face plastered over everywhere because I'm kind of the figurehead behind it. But the reason I'm able to be on webinars, on YouTube, on social all the time, because I have an amazing team behind me that's frankly better at running the operations and support than I am. So yes, you get support, and not just get support from me, you get some support from like high caliber team members where they are just experts in this and also experts in their respective fields of tech, underwriting, onboarding, all this stuff. You get help from them. All right, so we got a couple minutes left on here. And I see a couple other questions in chat here. How do you see this shifting with the market and properties not getting exponentially equity year over year? Oh my gosh, what a great question on here. Well, that is also the new market reality. And so if I buy a property today versus 6 years ago, yeah, I expect less appreciation. Now, here's the flip side of it. And this is where a lot of our clients are sitting. They bought a property 6 years ago, and the appreciation party is over. Many people are like, I don't want to sell this. I don't want to get rid of it because it's appreciating so much. Well, the appreciation party is over. Now it's actually a really good time to trade up. So I can show you how to model something out in there, because while you won't get that same exponential, like as crazy growth you would, as we did a couple years ago, you still get a lot of great growth that makes sense in the long run. And it makes more sense than sitting there and doing nothing. All right, see a couple questions on here. Here's my phone number. Can you call me? Yes, we can reach out to you. Let's see. Oh, here's a great question. I'm new. How do we find fourplexes? Every time I search on the MLS, I only see one unit for sale within a fourplex. Oh, well, that's a question that's more about how to use the MLS tool right there. We'll definitely help you out with that, but that's actually more just learning how to effectively use the MLS tool on there. Make sure you're in the income property or rental property section. Talk to your managing broker on there. But if you're seeing that, that's actually a pretty simple fix on there. If I'm reading your question right, I ran that and I was like, wow, here's a duplex for $300,000. Oh, it's one side of a duplex. Okay, that's not right. I was in the wrong section of MLS. Very, very rookie mistake. If you're making that same mistake, no worries. We'll teach you how to do that in training. And honestly, that's actually just a very quick thing. You can change the way you're using the MLS tool to go out there and do it. But again, that's a very good example of like all these small little things where it's like, oh my gosh, why is this so hard? This is so frustrating. And so like that one thing is not hard, but multiply that times 100 things. And now you get death by 100 small things. That's the whole goal of this program. Help you out all those small things on the software, on talking to people, on running the business, so you can go out there and effectively implement it in your business. Another question, do you help analyze long-term rentals and short-term rentals? Yes, Property Llama can do all of that. We don't have specific things built out for short-term rentals, but we don't need to because it's just a difference in numbers in there. So yes, we have all the resources to go out there and analyze those tools. All right, well, I just looked down. Timer is up. I am a minute over here. So I am like, gosh, I got to say, I'm very honored and like feel privileged about how many people stayed on through the whole almost 90 minutes now. That's really exciting. Thank you guys. Hopefully you got great value out of here. I'm assuming you did. So you stayed in here for almost 90 minutes. I see a bunch of sales coming in and new team members. Looks like we're not quite at 10 yet, but getting close there, that's awesome. So thank you guys for joining up there. We'll be reaching out to you here next like 24 hours to start your onboarding, get you plugged in, take care of some admin stuff, get you plugged in a training program, all that fun stuff. If you guys have any questions, whether you're a member or not, reach out to me, reach out to a team member. I want to make sure you understand it. But most importantly, I want you to start learning these techniques and going out there and implementing in your business, to go out there and use your clients and start seeing results like I have as well. So everyone, thank you so much for coming out. I am always, like I said, I am just honored, and I feel very privileged when I can even get one personal webinar, let alone like hundreds of people. Like it's just very, like I said, it's just very humbling. So thank you. I always want to deliver the most value to you. Like I always want to deliver the most value to my real estate clients, to you as the agent. I want to deliver so much value to you. Like, wow, this is awesome. It's no brainer. And Chris, you're the man. My business and my clients are better off because of you. And to me, that's a win. So with that, everyone, thank you so much. And I'll see you in Property Llama soon.